Indonesia has become the latest addition to the country's travel ban list amid the surge in Delta COVID variant cases in the Southeast Asian country. Let's discuss this further with Special Advisor to the IATF, Dr. Herbosa, who joins us now via Zoom. Good evening, Doc. Doc, this hits very, very close to home. What do we know so far about the Delta outbreak in Indonesia?
Good evening, Sean. Good evening to the televiewers. Yes, Indonesia has been recommended by the IATF to be included in the banned countries for travel to the Philippines because of their high prevalence of the Delta variant. So the previous countries are, of course, the South Asian countries, India, Pakistan, including some countries in the Middle East like Oman and the United Arab Emirates. So they've recommended it to the Office of the President, and we do hope that eventually the Office of the President will make a decision on whether to include Indonesia in the ban. And this is because of the surge of cases of the Delta variant in Indonesia.
Yeah, Doc. However, in other countries as well, even coming from the West, the Delta variant is now the main variant or the predominant variant. Some as much as 50% of cases, some even more. Should this list of banned countries or countries included in our travel ban get longer, or should it be longer?
Eventually, we will have to make sure that our quarantine protocols work. We may have to add more countries in the list as there is an uptick of cases in those countries. I think the Delta variant has been identified in over 90 countries. So we cannot put everyone on the list, but we will put those that have an uptick of their epidemic curve, the number of cases increasing. So those are the countries that we should be worried about, especially if there are lots of Filipinos that will be coming from there. So these are the measures we can do. But eventually, the Delta variant is really very infectious. Sean, it's got a reproductive number of almost double the current ones, something like an R of 4. So it can infect more people faster. So you saw what happened in India and then now in Indonesia. So we do hope we're still very lucky. We haven't found it in our communities, but we found it in 19 Filipinos that returned from different countries.
That's right. You mentioned these containment measures. Doc, this surge also comes as new containment measures have been put in place by the Indonesian government. What could be the explanation to the spread of the Delta variant there in Indonesia despite these measures? Is it really that very high transmissibility, even outdoors?
Yes, I think it's the high transmissibility, and really very important is what we call border control. Of course, the Delta came from the other country where Delta was already raging. So this is the same story in Singapore, in Malaysia, when there were, Delta variants actually are able to enter from travelers. So this is where the travel ban will work. The recommended travel ban is only 2 weeks, and we do hope that by that time, the containment measures in Indonesia will work and decrease the transmission of cases.
Right, and here in the Philippines, how can we prevent a surge like Indonesia, especially with the Delta variant cases? Any other recommendations apart from border controls?
Well, the recommendation is really to get your second dose. What has been found in the different countries, especially in the UK and in Israel, is that people with 2 doses have milder symptoms. Even if you're infected with the Delta variant, your symptoms are like cough and colds only, and you don't need hospitalization, and your chance to die will be almost zero. So we're really pushing for people to go back for their second shots. Yesterday, we had a big outbreak, and we were able to inject 375,059 injections of the COVID vaccine. And that's the highest we've had since we started vaccinating in March in a day. And we've reached also the 14 million mark, and 9 million Filipinos now have 1 dose, while 3.5 million already have 2 doses. So we're hurrying up. We're reminding our elderly, the senior citizens who are high risk to die and have critical illness, to go and get vaccinated because vaccines have arrived. We had 3 million that arrived last week, 1 million AstraZeneca from Japan and 2 million from COVAX. This morning, 1 million doses of Sinovac also arrived. So I think the vaccination centers will be very busy vaccinating our Filipinos and protecting us from the entry of the Delta variant.
Right. Speaking of vaccination, how do you find our COVID vaccination pace, Doc, vis-a-vis that of Indonesia's? We do know they have more islands than us in terms of being an archipelago and a bigger population. And do you think, Doc, we can handle a Delta surge considering our relatively slow vaccine rollout?
So we're now ramping up vaccinations. We're very happy that in NCR, we are speeding up. Of the 300,000, about 150,000 jobs are happening in the NCR plus region. So we've got the capacity to vaccinate lots of people. We're also doing planning for the Delta variant. We call it our contingency plans. So we're reassessing our inventories of PPEs, oxygen, medications like remdesivir that are needed when people do get infected with the Delta variant, if it does enter the Philippines. So a lot of this inventory and logistics and supply are being reviewed. Even our processes, our quarantine facilities, we're trying to study how we can really immediately ramp them up if the vaccines, if the variant enters.
All right, very good and comforting to know. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. Special Advisor to the IATF, Dr. Ted Herbosa. Thanks, Doc.